2020 candidate Joe Biden giving a new warning to the far left after Prime Minister Boris Johnson leads Conservatives to victory in the UK elections. Biden reportedly telling San Francisco fundraiser, look what happens when the Labour Party moves so far to the left. They come up with ideas that are not able to be contained with an irrational basis quickly. Gary.
Options a live look from London, where in just the last couple of minutes we've watched these demonstrations turn rowdy. The issue is they're mad that Conservative Prime Minister Boris Johnson won a big victory last night ahead of Brexit. Now, police are fighting back against protesters, using batons to smack down some of them. We've seen a couple of protesters on the ground, their faces bloody, but here in the United States, President Trump is praising the Prime Minister for his win and saying it might be a sign of things to come in the States.
I want to congratulate Boris Johnson on a terrific victory. I think that might be a harbinger of what's to come in our country. It was last time. I'm sure people will be thrilled to hear that, but a lot of people will be, actually.
Joining me now is Steve Hilton, host of The Next Revolution. Steve, this protest turning, quite rowdy and possibly violent just in the last few minutes. What do you make of all this?
Yeah, amazing scenes to look at straight after what you'd expect to be a moment of joy and happiness and all the divisions that have been there in the UK. It's a bitterly divided country since that Brexit vote in 2016, a decisive victory for Boris Johnson. You'd think that would settle the argument. Well, it will certainly settle the political argument. He clearly has a mandate now to get Brexit done, in the words of his slogan, but it obviously isn't going to settle the argument, the cultural argument, the argument in the country. Feels like that's going to go on, and this is a sign of it.
Tell me a little bit more about the cultural argument in the country, then. What do you think the fault lines are?
Well, it's actually very much resembles what we're seeing here, where you've got places like London, for example, and think of London as the equivalent of the
Good morning, good afternoon, afternoon everybody. Good afternoon. This morning I went to Buckingham Palace and I am forming a new government, and on Monday MPs will arrive at Westminster to form a new parliament, and I'm proud to say that members of our new One Nation government, a people's government, will set out from constituencies that have never returned a Conservative MP for 100 years. And yes, they will have an overwhelming mandate from this election to get Brexit done, and we will honour that mandate by January the 31st. And so in this moment of national resolution, I want to speak directly to those who made it possible, and to all those who voted for us for the first time, and those whose pencils may have wavered over the ballot, and who heard the voices of their parents and their grandparents whispering anxiously in their ears. I say thank you for the trust you have placed in us and in me, and we will work round the clock to repay your trust and to deliver on your priorities with a parliament that works for you. And then I want to speak also to those who did not vote for us or for me, and who wanted and perhaps still want to remain in the EU.
We have a proud dad. First person I saw when I came in this morning, Stanley Johnson. Congratulations. Your boy done it. He got it done.
Well, I'm gobsmacked. You've got a proud sister here, too.
Proud
of course.
sister, Rachel.
We have got a proud-
Do not forget.
I don't know how proud she is. We'll come to her in a minute.
Sisters, well, of course I'm proud, but I've got to tell you, I'm a little bit stunned also at the extent of the challenge. You just ticked off quite a few of the things, you know, like Scotland, all the things the manifesto said we would do, health, education, police. I want to put in a little plea also for the internationalism, which is going to be vital if he's going to deal with climate change and nature protection. For me, these are obviously key issues. And ironically, I say this because I'm aware of the irony, ironically...
That's all, folks.
Overseas at this hour, the breaking headline out of the UK tonight, the high-stakes election, the future of Brexit, the future of the Prime Minister Boris Johnson, all on the line. Let's get right to our foreign correspondent, James Longman, live in London tonight. And James, you have the early exit polls just in. What do they show?
Yeah, David, this was the most anticipated and consequential election in a generation. Millions voting in the hope of ending the Brexit chaos. And with the voting now closed, the exit polls are revealing a huge landslide victory for Conservative Prime Minister and Donald Trump favourite Boris Johnson. A campaign characterised by disinformation. But in the end, the Get Brexit Done slogan seems to have worked. Tonight, it looks like Johnson will remain Prime Minister and work towards pulling the UK out of the EU as he's pledged by January 31st. But the huge task ahead, negotiating a trade deal. The risk of a no-deal Brexit still very much a possibility. David?
Tracking it into the night for us, James Longman, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
I'm keen to work very hard with Prime Minister Johnson on getting the Executive and Assembly up and running again in Northern Ireland. I think that's absolutely crucial now and has to be a key priority for the next couple of weeks. And then we go on to the next phase of Brexit, which is negotiating a mighty new future economic partnership between the EU and the UK, and I think that can be done.
I appreciate the person, and we had good discussions, and I'm convinced that we'll be able also to be still partners for the future. So. We expect as soon as possible the vote by the British Parliament on the withdrawal agreement. It's important to have the clarity as soon as possible. We are ready. The European Union will negotiate in order to have a close cooperation in the future with the UK.
The time frame ahead of us is very challenging. We will have to work as soon as possible. We will be ready to get the most